Hello. Oh, you're just sitting in front of the diesel heater. Chilling out, eh? Chilling out in front of the diesel heater. Is that what you're doing, eh? Just clean your eyes. Good girl. Good girl. Right. Welcome back. I ain't picked up a camera in months. Pretty much since my last video. And I've had nothing but problems since then. So, obviously with the run up to Christmas, I had a little bit of a budget for my next project on the van, and it just went blue on repairs. So basically what happened was I come in one day, the battery was completely flat. So tried to charge it up, and it weren't having none of it pretty much. It was only getting back up to like 11 volts. So I bought a new battery, put that in, and noticed at the time, as soon as I connected it all up, the actual screen on the van wouldn't come back on. I had no Bluetooth, no controls worked on the steering wheel. I had so much things just go down, and couldn't work out why. So after changing number of fuses and stuff like that, nothing worked. I even had AdBlue issues at the time. So I managed to find a decent electrical mechanic, and he figured out the problem, that basically the A-pin module, which controls the screen, your hand, your Bluetooth, everything, controls so many things, had literally blown. So that was a 600 quid bill right there. At the same time as the van needed a service, and obviously there was an AdBlue issue, which was just turned out to be a blown fuse, but to diagnose the problem, change the fuse, it's ended up costing me over £1,000 to get all these problems sorted out right before Christmas. So it's kind of blown me out a little bit. I've done a little bit of travelling since then, but not filmed anything, so I'm going to get back into it now. But I thought I'm going to start with a little mini van tour, because seeing as I've pretty much most of the inside now is finished off, I think I need to get it weighed. But I thought I'll try and do a bit more of an in-depth tour of what I've got to so far, really. Because yeah, the inside, as you can see, is pretty much finished. I've still got to do this door, but I'm unsure on what to do with that. I don't know whether I should carpet it or I don't know, but it's literally just that's the only section that's not done. Right, I'll start at the front. So there was always overhead storage above the cab, but there was no front to it. So I've just pretty much put a little cupboard in there. So literally storage space there, and I just keep all sorts of crap in there really. But and then covered it up with that map, which is just literally fabric, just some fabric I've got offline, and then just glued it on. And then I've stuck an iPad mount in the front, so then I can stick my iPad up there, which is proper. That's a nice little. I mean, I've left my iPad up there while I'm driving, and it holds onto it lovely. So that's a decent bit of kit. And then the main control panel for the van. So, Sky, where are you going? Get down. So the main control panel for the van. This is basically just controls all my lights. So you'll have the main lights, you'll have the left side and the right side of the counter, above each counter. And then I've got CCTV, which will then switch this on. Now, I installed this last year sometime. You probably won't see it on the camera, but I'm not happy with it. One of the cameras is different and it gives you a much better image, but it's a truck CCTV system. So the cameras are designed to be, I suppose, a lot higher up, because the image quality it's not great, and plus you're so close to everything, so you don't really get a wide angle view of everything around you. But it's better than nothing, so I'm living with it at the time being. But then the last one is my outside awning light. I don't know if you'll see it in the reflection of the car, but that just, even though I haven't got an awning yet, is a little outside light. So that's the main control panel for the van. Oh, leave them on. And then on this side, I have my battery monitor, and then just a little temperature gauge, and then my Max Air fan, and then obviously an alarm for the gas. Now moving down here, I haven't changed anything since my first video really, so this is all pretty much the same. If I go in here, I've got 35 litre water tank and a 35 litre waste, and obviously my system's real simple because it's all just here. Literally brings the water up through here and out through the tap. Now I want to change this. It's no good having your waste tank inside the van because once this gets filled it stinks. So I want to try and put a waste tank underneath, and then I don't want to put my water tank underneath because it will freeze. So I'm going to have that left in here, but instead of having a 35 litre, I'm planning to put a 70 litre. So chuck this underneath, put a 70 litre in here, because I'll show you in a minute, I've got another one of these in the boot that I solely use for my shower. So I could eliminate that from the boot, have a 70 litre one in here, and that gives me more area in the garage, boot, whatever you want to call it. And then I don't have to fill up 2 tanks. Also, the only way I do this is by unclipping this and then literally running into my house and having to fill up the water and empty the waste, and that's no good. I want an actual point on the van where I can just put a hose in it and it just runs into the water tank, and then obviously your waste runs out and you can just dispose of it over a waste grid. That's the plan for this section here. So I haven't finished in here at all, whereas I've boarded out all other little sections of the van now and cupboards and that. I've not boarded out any of this. And then I still haven't changed my gas, so this is naughty really. I should have obviously a gas safe box, and then I should have it vented out through the floor. I haven't done any of that yet. So the setup I've got up here in a minute is just literally, I carry 2 bottles of gas, just these camping gas bottles, and literally one's empty. I know I can switch it round to the other one and then go and get them filled up again. But I need to get that a lot more safer. Obviously the diesel heater, nothing changed. Fridge, nothing's changed. Only thing I've changed in here is I used to carry a Thetford chemical toilet. I've got rid of that now completely. I find they stink. So even when you've got fresh chemicals, it's just the smell of the chemicals that gets on it does my head in. So I've just literally gone for one of them fold-away ones, and that'll do me for now, which obviously gives me space to put a bin on the back of this door or something, so just a bit more storage. And then underneath Leo's bed, yet again, tons of storage, and this obviously pulls out like you've seen in a previous video, making his little bed, which is perfect. Obviously I've installed now my 240 plug sockets, and there's a USB-C and USB there. And then, as I said, I've finished off backing out the back of these cupboards now. I put a mirror in here, and then it's just one of them plastic mirrors, and then used a chemical to clean it, and it burnt through, and it's a nightmare. So that'll do for now. And then all these cupboards now, I've got 4 on one side, and they're obviously just gives you tons of storage, and then 3 on this side. So I normally tend to use the back 2 for clothes. I've got all my plates and cutlery in there. I've built out little things to just hold everything in place, so you haven't got to worry about everything moving. Even the cups, they're all built in place. So that is pretty much the inside now. I don't know if I'd done this before, but I've added a little fold-up table as well. So just adds when you're doing some cooking that you've got some extra worktop space. And that just literally clicks and folds down into place. So that is pretty much the simple build. Nothing special, but I went for just simple because it feels spacious, but I've also got a ton of storage. What I haven't done at the moment is shown the boot area and the shower, so I'm going to do that now. Now on the outside, the only thing that I've actually added is I've changed the front grille, and obviously I've added the bonnet lights, and then I've also changed these just so they're black rather than clear. There's nothing really else apart from, obviously, I've added the tyre, spare wheel and ladder, and I've also now mounted my track boards up here. and they're just pretty much held on by magnets. So I'll do this one door at a time, but I've now finished them. But I've also noticed there's a problem. I've got to cut these down a little bit because I'm getting a slight leak on my van's pitched this way, not level. When it's going like that, it seems to leak down in a little bit. So I'm going to cut them down, trim them up. But this has all been wrapped and painted. And then obviously I've added this Williams mounting board, so I can just mount all my bits in there for spare bits for the van, my bike, first aid kit, fancy axe for show. And then on this side I've added my shower. Now this is a Julka hot tap. It's on a quick release plate, so I can just take it off if need be. But literally just sits there on the door. And then this is what I meant about carrying my spare tank. So this is another 35 litre tank. This is run off gas, so I'll carry a spare gas bottle, and then all the gubbins for it are in here. So you can literally just plug it all in underneath here, and then drop the hose into the water, and it will literally just fire up and give you a hot shower. Now obviously the only problem I've got with that is there's not much privacy if you literally just want to park here and have a shower. So my idea is to get some tent fabric probably and put poppers up here, so then I can close off the back of the van, and then I might use the same fabric from here to the other side of the door, and then that'll give me a little cubicle in here where I can actually shower. Because it's a nightmare, once you finish showering you can't just shut the doors because all the hoses are just hanging down. So it's not the best, but it's a good way of getting a hot shower. So and obviously I've added a little power socket there just so I can run the little pump it comes with. But now that pretty much now that I'm finished and I'm at this stage in the build, all the big things are pretty much added. It's just going to be upgrades, and I'd like to find a way of hanging my bike on the back door, but it's an e-bike, so I'm a bit worried about the weight of it. So I need to work out a way whether I actually get a trailer or a tow bar or something like that to actually transport it around. And I don't like the idea of leaving it outside at night, but because I've built the bed at a certain height now and everything around it, I don't think there's much change in it apart from stripping the whole van out. So I've got to think of that. But really now I need to go and get it weighed, and then we can see what we're playing with. I'm not going to bother topping up the water tanks because I know there's two 35 litre ones in here. The one in the boot has already got water in it, so I'll just be able to add the weight once I know the weight. But I'm hoping we come in, I haven't got a clue what we're going to come in at, to be honest, because I started the build in being a bit sketchy about what weight I was using because of the fact I didn't want to go over the 3.5 tonne. That's including when you've got passengers in there and all your items. It can't go can't go over the 3.5 tonne. So I was always worried about that in the beginning, but then when I was adding things like this worktop, even the floor and certain things, I kind of just went for what I like the look of rather than what was weight, like bearing in mind with the weight. So I don't think I've gone over. I also know this van is the 350 payload. You get the 251 and a 350. So this is the Ford Transit Eco Blue 350 2 litre. So it's got the one with the dodgy cam belt, which is a nightmare. But I've had this from 11,000. We're now on 35. And I've serviced it every 6,000 to 8,000. So I'm hoping that that's just enough to keep that belt okay. And then I'll get that belt changed at about probably 60,000, 70,000, which is ridiculous, really. But anyway, let's get to the weigh place. Right, so apparently he's going to let me just chuck the van on there and check the weight via the digital display on the side. But he said it's 20 quid, £20 to get its certificate, if you wanted a printed certificate, or you can just literally chuck it up there for free. Now I said to him, can I pay for a certificate, because it wouldn't hurt having that in all the bunch of paperwork I've got. And apparently his printer's broke, so that's good for this video, isn't it? But we're gonna chuck it on there anyway, because it's good to get an idea. So that is actually coming in at, I don't know if I'll be able to see that. That's 2980. That's 2980. Wow. With me on the weighing scales as well. 2980. So just under, let me just get out of here without crashing. But that's just under 3 ton. That's with me and Sky. But that's with me. So obviously I've got to obviously carry Leo and Sharon, which is nothing. And then I might have my bike with me occasionally, and whatever the way of me towing my bike or putting on the doors, or however I go about that, that'll obviously add weight as well, but that won't be nothing. So we are well under. So that is a result. Oh, I've just got in the van and I'm getting all these lights and malfunction signs on the dashboard, and nothing seems to be working. It says no hill start assist, no reversing cameras, no sensors, no hill start, no pre-collision assist. There's basically the whole freaking dashboard's gone down again. Same thing that happened when the A-pin module went, but this time my screen and sat-nav and Bluetooth is still working. And this time I'm getting all lights on the ABS symbol, all these freaking things on the dashboard. So I'm going to go and get that checked out again. What a nightmare. Right, so the problem, what he reckons is this wire here. So he's done a repair on it, because he said it's only just broke through. So we've done a repair on it, but he reckons it could be to do with, I think that was sitting here, which is directly underneath here. He reckons it might be the heat maybe coming out of here. It's started to slowly melt this wire, which is the ABS wire. Now, that's not what caused the problem. It was actually the ABS wire that goes into the actual wheel itself had broke. But while he was under there, he noticed there was a little kink in this wire, not where it looked like it just slowly burnt through. And he reckons, he says it could be the heat from this. So he's taken it out of there and just dropped it down there a little bit. But that's over 2 or 3 years. Oh, let me get out of here. That's over 2 or 3 years that I've had the diesel heater in. Let's put some lights on. That I've had that in, where it's slowly, maybe on a certain day where I've had it full pelt, full pump for a good few hours, that's when it started to just slowly melt that wire. Now, I didn't actually fit that diesel heater. I had that done by Autoterm. They called Autoterm in Wrexham, or whatever they're called. That company fit it for me. Now, I've got no objections with it. Everything they've done was brilliant. Just maybe that wire may be too close to being underneath there. Maybe they should have bent the pipe up a little bit more or something. But we're not sure whether that's what's caused it. He says where there's an actual bend on that wire, he goes over time, it could just be where there's a bend. But he goes, it did look like it started to kind of melt through the wire casing a little bit. And it hadn't touched the internal wires, so we know that wasn't the problem. It was just starting to. So he's heat shrink that back up again and chuck the cable down. So hopefully, new ABS sensor on that, all the lights are now off the dashboard. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that is end of problems. But it just seems to be, it might be the same in every other motor, but as soon as something like that electronical goes down, it throws my whole dashboard out. So you haven't got a clue what it is. So I haven't got it in with me now.
but I've gone and got an OBD reader, I think you call them that. So, some people saying it won't work, it's just a cheap one, but some people saying it will pick up some codes. So hopefully next time I haven't got to panic, I can just read the code and know, oh, it's just an ABS sensor, we'll get that sorted out at a later date, rather than having to put everything on hold just to try and get it sorted out. But now, problem sorted for this time. But I'm going to leave it there this week, and I'll pick you up on next week. Thanks for watching.